in our property record for number 1 George Street. If we wish to sell the property, we navigate to the property record and we can click the button Sell. You'll be given an opportunity to click on one of the templates here, or you can use the blank form if this is your first time. You'll be given the opportunity to add a seller name, which could be you as an individual, an organisation, a department, or on behalf of someone else. For example, if you're a financial guardian, a trustee, or an executor. You can include a sale price estimate, which will be carried across from any valuation you conduct, and you have the opportunity to provide the date of that estimate, also carried across from any valuation you conduct. You'll be given an opportunity to enter the reason for sale, and if you're not comfortable, you can just declare other for the moment. While we always recommend exclusive agency where possible, we understand that for certain types of assets, it may be preferable to either have a negotiable position on this or engage a sole or open agency. For example, for rural and regional property, this is quite common. Let's choose exclusive agency for now. You'll be given an opportunity to give instructions to your agent or your service provider here in the box. If you've been using a template instructions will be carried across here, such that you don't have to enter them every time. This is useful if you have a standard set of instructions that you provide to all service providers. However, we still give you the opportunity to add what you wish in this box or edit those instructions on a case-by-case basis, rather than leaving it too rigid. At this point in time, you're also given the opportunity to carry across documents or photos from the real property record. We don't immediately move all documents and all photos into a transaction form because some of those pieces of information may be private and confidential. When you click on Include Documents, if you have included any documents in your property record, you'll be able to carry them across here. Similarly with photos. As you can see, it says that nothing matches your search currently, and this is because we haven't yet uploaded anything into our property record. We include some bidding options for service providers. This allows you to do a few different things. If you include no bidding options, then the platform will distribute the tender at an appropriate radius based on the service provider's preferences and to an unlimited number of participants within those radiuses and without a bid's due date. As you can understand, that's quite broad, and not everyone wishes to have such an open tender. With that in mind, we've provided a few mechanisms to restrict bidding as you see fit. The first is, if you require submissions to be within a certain time period, you may set a bid's due date. We would say here though, that you keep in mind whether real estate service providers have sufficient time to be able to provide a submission within the time frame that you've negotiated. This is usually related to their proximity to the asset, and the further away the asset is from service providers, please consider allowing additional time for them to provide a submission. You may limit the number of submissions made to a particular service, say for example 10, and because we put that this property is managed, that is currently subject to tenancy, you're able to enter in our property manager email here if you wish to include them in the tender. You may restrict the submissions by agents by bid, not just by due date, number of bids to be submitted, or the property manager, but you may also choose from our list of agents, or if you have agents in mind, you may directly invite them via email. You can also restrict agents based on a radius if you have a view as to how far away you wish a property service provider to be. We also allow two types of additional participants on any particular transaction service. The first is a stakeholder, and stakeholders have what we like to call view-only access. This is important because stakeholders are allowed to view what is happening with a transaction, but they may not edit anything with regards to the property record or the transaction, and they have a limited number of components that they can view within the transaction service itself. Post-appointment, similarly, stakeholders may view what is going on with the transaction, but they may not communicate with the service provider, and they may not amend or append any records within the platform. If you'd like to know a little bit more about what stakeholders can and can't see, please feel free to click the question mark icon in the bottom right hand corner of the app, and we'll be happy to help. Lawyer emails may be included, such that if a matter is contentious, you may include solicitors or attorneys who are acting on your behalf for court proceedings, and you may include property solicitors or conveyancing practitioners to a file who will execute the conveyance or settlement on a sale. If you wish to put some instructions to a solicitor, attorney, or conveyancer in here, you may include them in the instructions to your lawyer box. You may also simply say that you have provided instructions via email or letter, if that is what you wish. As I mentioned before, your reference from your property record has been carried across, as has the file color that you have allocated. However, you're given the opportunity to amend this if you wish, amend this or append this if you wish. After you hit publish, a sale tender has been successfully created for this property record. You will notice that this sale tender includes information relating to the property record. However, it now also has the additional information that we just provided in the tender. If you wish to edit a submission, a tender, you can click Edit Job and change the information related to the sale tender. All participants who have already submitted proposals will be notified of the changes. You may also click Contact Visibility and amend or append what information individuals who are going to provide a tender are allowed to see about you or your team. You can view the draft agreement that is going to be created for this particular service transaction, and if something is not going to proceed, you may also click the Cancel Job button to remove this particular tender. As no service providers have yet submitted, the bids index is currently empty. A workspace will only be opened upon successful appointment of a service provider. You'll notice up here that the service reference we created specifically for the sale is Test Reference Sale. If we return back to the property record via this little view icon here, you'll notice that the file reference for our property has not changed from Test Reference. Now that we've created a sale tender for the property, if you return to the property record as we have and you scroll down, you will notice that there is now a transaction table. This notes that we have published a sale tender for this particular property. If we wish to view that tender again, we may click the View button, which will take us through to the sale tender. In the next video, we will go over briefly creating a lease tender and how that differs from a sale tender.